Come on, welcome to the Josh Guillory Show. I am your very grateful host. And in studio with me, my friend over there, Parker. What up, Park?
What's going on, Josh?
Man, I'm just chilling, baby. Having a great day. Hump day today. It's hump day already.
It is.
You want to do Monday and Tuesday over?
Yeah, let's reset.
You want to reset? I had a good Monday and Tuesday. You know, God allowed us to breathe above ground and hang out with folks. So that's good. That's a good thing. And it's a good thing you're here with us, and I'm so happy you are. We got a lot of things to talk about today. No way we get through all our topics. No way. There's a lot. I walked in and folks, oh, it's a slow news day. Not really. Not really. I guess it kind of is. You know why I'm saying that? Because we normally talk national topics and some state topics. We've talked a lot more local lately, and we'll do some more of that. I promised the folks I would, especially with budget out and having gone through the process. It's not as complicated as folks say it is, and I would love to say it's not as easy as some folks say, but it ain't hard. It ain't hard. I promise you. Hey, Park, don't spend more money than you have. That's pretty good, right? Pretty easy concept.
Easy.
Yeah,
that's pretty easy.
And if you only have a certain amount of money, you got to start with your priorities. Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
That's what you do with your budget, right?
I try my best.
Everybody just tries their best.
Right.
And that's what we're going to talk about today. So great segue. We're going into local. We'll stay on local. We'll talk about budget a little bit, but I want to talk about this new proposal. So the Mayor President Boulay, has introduced this road initiative 3 years into her administration. Okay, $77 million. Hey, okay. Let me right off the bat. The roads that are listed in the project, great. Seems like very routine, ordinary road projects. A lot of those look familiar. But regardless, I don't want anybody to be upset that we're building roads. That's fantastic. I just don't know why it took us 3 years to start doing it, and it's not going to be 3 years because by the time they do all the things that we're about to talk about, it'll be right about the election time, which is probably the timing they wanted. Now that I say it, they can, most folks can get a shovel in the ground pretty quick. We're struggling on that here locally, so I don't know if they'll have a shovel in ground before election. That would be like at private sector speed. That would be like at regular people speed, not this bureaucratic big government speed. So regardless, let's dive right into it. So LCG and the Mayor President. I don't want to say LCG because the councils haven't been on board yet. They're going to be placed in a position where they're going to have to, unfortunately. But let's dive into. I keep saying that a lot because I'm not against the projects. I'm against getting into debt for the projects. I am not against any of those projects. Not that I saw. I'm sure there's some that I would maybe have questions on. But I could give you a list of projects, and you'd have questions on some, as you should. No one can agree on everything. We agree on most things, though. But these road projects, they're overdue. Should have been done this year. Should have been done last year. Why are we waiting? And look, you can't say that the current Mayor President and administration doesn't have the money to do all these. We have explained the $280 million surplus she will have had by the end of this fiscal year by the end of the budget of the fiscal year she's introducing. So I don't understand that. And look, maybe debt doesn't matter to folks. Sonia Barbier, shout out to you. I didn't get to your Rumble chat yesterday. I apologize. But Sonia was asking about bonding. I'm not sure if Lane, Parker, did you see that on Rumble?
No? I have not.
No. I saw it after the fact. So shout out. And she asks, we were talking about bonding and what does that mean? And what's the big deal if we get more bonds and more debt and all that stuff? Well, bonds, think of it like debt. And when you get a bond, it's a loan. That's all it is. It's a loan. It's a loan. So the increased bond amount is higher debt service. You know, you take out a mortgage, you got a mortgage payment. If you get a second mortgage, you got to pay more each month. You start adding that up and up and up and up. Eventually, they're not going to give you a loan, but eventually, you're going to have a lot of debt on your hand, and you're not going to be able to do the normal things. Just like our national debt, the interest is so high that it's like, man, at some point, that's a topic for a different day, Parker. The national debt. But let's see here. So the mayor president calls the proposal a bond millage renewal. Now that is, remember we talked yesterday, this is a trick. And it doesn't have to be. Why? I don't know why we can't just be honest and say, hey guys, we've grown government a lot and we don't have the money that is at surplus. We've chosen to treat that as regular overhead and waste. I don't know. Where is the money? Where is the money? No one can explain it. So instead of getting the fiscal house in order like you would do, and like I would do, and did, and a lot of folks do, businesses do, households at the kitchen table do, you tighten your belt and you figure out how you can afford the items without running debt. Because here's why. That millage we're about to vote on is a road millage. It is designed to help maintain the roads. And yeah, construct some new roads. Absolutely. Use that millage to construct a lot of roads. Overlays and all that stuff. So if you go tie it up in projects and that capacity is tied up, which look, I'm not against bonds. You have to have the debt, you have to have the revenue, and you have to have the net revenue. They got the revenue. You have to have the money to service the debt. So basically, we're not going to be, under this plan, we're not going to be voting on a $77 million infrastructure project, as the mayor president is lying to us about. This is a lie. This is on purpose. I know the inside ball. I'm telling you. What we're voting on is a loan. We're going to be voting on a loan. Think of it like that. All right. I'll explain why, though. We'll take us a tiny little break. I want to kind of go into proposition number one. Prop one. These are things where no one talks about. No one talks about this. It's only complicated in the way that it's been presented. None of this is difficult. Think of it as a regular loan, and you got to service the loan, okay? All right, guys, not all debt's bad debt, but when we have the money to pay for it, it is. Stick around, guys. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. Hey guys, all your automobile needs, go visit my friends over there at Stan's Auto. Two great locations. One here servicing the folks in Lafayette and beyond, right by the Grand Theater, off of Johnson Street on Ducey. You can't miss it, Stan's Auto. They got parking in the back. Don't let that front parking lot fool you, and they are quick. Like, super quick. I'll be in there tomorrow. Today's Wednesday. I'll be in there day after tomorrow. I'm going to visit Sterling at Stan's and drop my Jeep off. It's a pleasant experience. Also servicing the great folks of New Iberia and around, right by the old JB Thibodeau off of Admiral Dole. So go check them out. Stan's Auto for all your automobile needs. Hey, tell them Josh and Parker said, hey. Have you met Sterling and his crew yet?
I have not.
All right,
but I drive by it every day.
Oh, it's all. And look, I know. Sterling's heard this show the other day. He's like, "You're promoting us selling tires." I said, "I am," because it's rare. I know people sell tires all the time. I get that, but it's rare you can do a one-stop shop with all that and at the price that they offer too.
Right.
And I think that's just part of being in business so long. They got the cost effectiveness, so they pass those savings on to the consumer, as they usually do. So good. I love the private sector, Park. It always kind of just figures itself out, you know.
It does.
Go visit them at Stan's Auto. They believe in capitalism. All right. So again, we're talking about. I'm going to be positive. We're talking about road projects in Lafayette. Yes! Been waiting. This is good. So this is a good thing as far as getting roads. We think. I'm not convinced this shovel will be in the ground. We've had 3 years. We think. I mean, dude, we've had 3 years. What project do we have to show for it? University?
I still sit in traffic every day. More than I'd ever want to.
and then get harassed by panhandlers.
Yeah. I feel like I'm in Dallas sometimes.
And we know that part of Dallas. I got some friends in Dallas. And in not the suburbs. They live in Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas.
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all are Republicans? They got some Republicans in Dallas.
You would think not sometimes.
Well, you know what, Park? This ain't Dallas.
It's not.
And this ain't Dynasty.
So we gotta get these roads cleaned up.
That's right. All right, let's see here. So again, LCG, the mayor president's office is calling. It's not LCG, man. These council. I'd be so upset if I was a council member right now. if I heard it promoted, LCG wants to increase debt. I would be so. Hey, I'm a member of LCG. I don't want to increase debt. That's what I would be doing as a council member. And start off with a positive. We love the road projects. We just don't love how we're funding them. And it's exactly like a lot of folks said she would do. Come in the office, raise taxes, grow government, and get us into debt. What has she done in 3 years? She has raised taxes. She has grown the government. She even added 18 library positions when we just told her we didn't want to renew the library mill. We being the collective, we of the parish. Okay, I love the library. Don't take my words. Don't misstate my words. The same conversation with the library is the same conversation I'm having with this debt situation. It's about fiscal responsibility. The library has a wonderful mission that can be achieved, okay, financially, but we got to do it responsibly. Same thing with these roads. I'm telling you what, I hadn't seen every road project. The ones that I skimmed through, I was like, that looks familiar. That looks familiar. Other than that, which means they should have been done by now, which means they should have been done in 2024, started, finished by 2025. It's now almost the end of 2026, okay? So that's the issue, all right? But when you go to bonded, that's another issue. So let's talk about this. Proposition number 1. This is going to be a ballot initiative that you and me and we, the folks, we get to vote on a millage that expires in 2030, I believe. Why would we be sending it that early? I wonder why. It's probably good faith, Parker. It's probably good faith. It's probably a good reason. Yeah, okay. So, Prop 1. It will authorize, if we say yes, it will authorize up to $77 million in new general obligation bonds. What? This is what we would be voting on. Does that sound like a road program? So $77 million in new general obligation bonds. Repayment over likely 30 years. None of this is abnormal for bonds. And I'm not against bond debt. I'm against bond debt when you have the money to pay for it because you might need that. And if I was going to bond something, but Park, I can't get mad because it's just a difference of opinion. I would not, if I'm going to spend $77 million, I'm buying a Ferrari. I am not buying a bunch of toys at the dollar store with millions of dollars. These projects are ordinary projects. They're ordinary projects. They should be done. You have plenty of money. But whatever. Why don't you? Okay, there's a $123 million surplus in this year's budget, okay, compared to past, all right? You have to have a comparison analysis to go off of. Why not take $77 million of that? Okay, so if half of it's LUS, that's 65. All right, cut $10 million in spending. I could do that with a stick. I could do that with 30 minutes sleep a night for 7 days in a row, blindfolded. I'm right-handed. You can tie my right hand around my back and give me one stick with my left hand. I can swing it in LCG and find $10 million with this budget. With this budget, I can. And so could you. So could you. Very easy. When a budget, I know it's going to sound cute, but it's not. When a budget is this bloated, and I know, okay? But when a budget is this bloated, it really is easy. The executive can go to the CFO and say, how much are we over in whatever fund, general fund, 101 city, 105 parish, whatever the fund balance may be. Okay, cool. Cut it down to this. That's it. and then you can hear the feedback. Well, but if we do the blah blah blah, okay, cool, got it, got you. You wanna hear out those obstacles. You wanna hear out everything. Your smart people that are there. But at the end of the day, they know a good leader is going to remind them. Thank you. Cut the budget. I mean, that's it. It's the easiest gig, but you got to have a plan, a real plan, not a. If other folks would have handed a council a piece of paper and said, "Please, 77 million for this list of projects. I promise we'll get. I promise we'll get done. I promise." Other folks in that position's head would have been on a spike, as they should have been. You got to be able to explain this stuff. So we're going to explain a little bit more because it's a lot. The proposition one is way more than what we're talking about. Okay, so we'll dive a little deeper. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. Go visit my friends over there at Giles Nissan, Opelousas Lafayette. Giles Nissan. Hey man, we always say it. It is August 2026, so you know the new models are coming in. Go check them out. Get all the deals you can at Giles Nissan, Lafayette, Opelousas. You know you have the customer service to go along with it. Go check them out, Giles Nissan, and you can visit online as well. All right, let's move on and moving on, but on the same topic. All right, road program coming out. Well, it's not a road program. It's a bunch of road projects. I love them. I wish we'd pay cash. What I would like to do right now, and this is why I'm saying this, okay? Call your council member. Ask the council member right now, please push up. We're all pushing. You can call the council office. Call them. They're the only ones that can save us. And just say, please amend the mayor president's proposed budget, amended by $77 million, and we can. And here's another thing. Y'all think we all know that there's not a single one of those projects that will be started in a year, within 12 months. Not a single one. That's why she can't amend her budget in this. See, a bond, she can stretch that thing out forever. I mean, as long as she's in office. Why? I don't know, but that's okay. Again, different strokes for different folks. I'd rather pay cash. I don't want, like, you don't pay your recurring bills with a savings account. You don't go get a loan to do ordinary service. Building roundabouts is not, that's an easy thing. Why? Like, that's a big accomplishment. It's important. I don't want to say it's not. I love all these programs. I just don't want to do a big government Democrat model of debt over and over and over. Not all bonds are bad. Not all debt is bad. You got to be able to service the debt. You can't really have a responsible bond program if you don't get your recurring expenses down. And right now, the O&M in Lafayette Consolidated Government it's the worst I've ever seen it. Not exaggerating. And you don't have to take my word for it. All of this is public record. Look at the growth in the recurring spending. Look in the growth of recurring spending on salaries alone. And it's not just salaries. It's the mandated long-term fiscal mandated responsibilities on this local government to these employees when they retire. It's mind-boggling that we are managing our finances this way. You know, it's a slow bleed because look guys, man, if we give this current leadership team $77 million, basically a blank check, it's going into general obligation bonds. She's selling it and she's going to be lying to us. She's going to be deceiving. She already is, because she's saying that this is for roads and really it's for debt. It's for bonds. Over 30 years, maybe. I got some more to it though. So interest rates on this that we would be voting on, did you see this? Up to 7%. Repayment up to 30 years, and that's not uncommon. An ad valorem property tax sufficient to repay the bonds. Man, what? So look, here's the deal. We hey, we pay a millage every year, and it's a significant. This is one of the bigger millages, and it's one of the most important ones. Road millage, road and bridges millage. Okay, great. You take that millage money to build the projects that she's suggesting we do, many of which have already been discussed. We'll get a list out. We'll do that for the public. We'll help everybody out. We'll highlight the list of projects in this list that had either already started or was discussed. But I'm not mad at them for that, though. I want those projects to get done. I really do. You got the money, man. Because if we do it this way, eventually this is not, the bonds that we take aren't even going to be for the roads that she's identifying. That's the problem. We see this over and over and over again. She's got bigger plans. She wants to be like Mama. She wants to be the governor. She ain't gonna be here for long, one way or the other. Someone's either gonna beat her here in a year, hopefully, or she'll move on to greater things. Not for us, but for her. So, look at this. What we'll be voting on. Parker, how come this didn't hit the press release?
Let's hear it. What didn't hit the press release?
No, I'm talking about all the stuff. We're talking about the debt and the bonds and all this. And how come this part didn't hit? No estimated first-year millage increase above the current 1.85. That sounds really good. There's no increase. This is the slickest language that you can put. Hey, no tax increase. You know how she raised our taxes? This is the mechanism she did it, rolling up. No tax increase on year one. Well, what about years 2 through 30? Exactly. There is no cap on that. She can raise the taxes after year 2. This is the biggest wool. She thinks we're stupid, and she has reason to, because she's lied so many times.
I think that's what Verizon does.
Is right. They have that.
We can't raise your plan for the first year. But you have to sign a 4-year contract.
Oh my gosh, that's exactly what it is. So if we vote this, we're signing a 30-year contract. But they can't raise our rate for a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a phone plan.
It is. And here's the thing. Why not introduce language where you cap it? Why not? There's nothing in the law that prohibits us from doing that. And if there's nothing in the law that prohibits you from doing that, means you can't. So why not do it? Why not cap it out where you can see? This is so deceiving. What Mayor President Boulay is doing right now, deceiving on saying this is a big road program when it really is a debt program. It's a bond obligation when you have the money to go do the routine projects right now. Right now. Here's another way we know it's disingenuous. Okay, where are those projects in the budget right now? I'll let those crickets sing for a minute. Nowhere. This is far. This budget is far. The 26-27 year from October 1st, all the way to October 31st. All right. November 1st to October 31st. Sorry. So. The election's going to be here unless you're doing a budget amendment, which she won't. So that's how we know it's disingenuous. So let me get this straight. The first year, there's no tax increase. Well, there's not going to be anything done the first year. This is so disingenuous, All right, let's go back to, when we get back, we'll talk about what this really is. And it's a lot more than what we've even scratched on right now. So I'm glad we're able to take the time to dive into this stuff, because these are the type of initiatives and programs where politicians can be very slick. All this would just gloss over the eyes of most folks in the media and most folks in the public. And it's not because the media or the public can't handle it, because they can handle it better than these guys down the street, that's for sure. I memean that objectively, seriously. But, folks are busy, and unless heavy is the head who wears the crown, unless you've done this, you miss some of these little insight tricks. And the reason why, Park, I know these tricks is because I undid a lot of these. Not Joel's honest. Joel never deceived anybody. It's just the bureaucracy of it and that machine. We've heard it all. So, all right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. Go visit my friends over there at Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic. Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Start feeling better today. 983-CARE. Dr. Kevin at Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic here in Lafayette, Louisiana. We got Wellness Wednesday today, Park. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so we're going on this road suggestion. Routine road projects. Man, anybody want to go take out a mortgage to pay your bills? Anybody? Anybody want to go take out a second? Let's all go do a home equity line of credit to pay our electric bill. Y'all want to do that? No. That's what we're doing with this proposed approach. Roads, great. Well, put the roads in your budget, you big person that's not telling the truth. There you go. That was good.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah,
That's pretty solid.
Fair, objective, kind, not ugly.
Just calling it what it is.
Straight up. All right. So here's the deal, my dear friends. Seriously, if this is not a new tax or new debt obligation, then why is it not like on the ballot when it's supposed to come up? It's set to expire. Like, let's focus on this. This millage is expected to expire in the 2030s. Why would the mayor president suggest to us to renew it early? And I don't like that word renew, and it's a new tax. Okay? Why is it that you want to bring this millage early? Because you can't bond it under the current situation. The bond obligation is shrinking as we speak. Every day that goes by, every time we make a payment each month, it shrinks. As you know, it's a debt payment. All right? But also, the revenue ends at a certain point. So that amount is your bond, or it affects your bond capacity. So if we extend the millage for 30 years, that gives us a larger bonding capacity, because the bonding folks, the people that lend the money, is gonna look at that locked in revenue stream for 30 years, and they're gonna take that and they're gonna put debt on us for $77 million to go and do routine road projects. You know what really frustrates me? You know, she was big on ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act, and that's how we were able to do all the things. We only spent half ARPA. I tried to spend all of it, but you know, we have other folks we work with, and they had other plans, and we work with them, so that's okay. But I knew that something was going to happen. But we spent it on one-time projects, and so could she. So she had half of ARPA to work with. Why not go build the roundabouts then? I'm just saying, this is very disingenuous. So if it's not a new tax, if it's not a new ballot or a new bonding or debt obligation, then why is it on our ballot now? Why not wait till the 2030s to put it on the ballot? I love every one of these. I gotta stop saying that. I think I love every project. Definitely the ones I saw, a lot of them were great. Go pay for it now. Hey, this is, again, guys, don't believe me if you don't want. Go look at public record. There's a budget that was introduced. Where are these projects in the budget? And then they're going to give you this complicated government bureaucratic answer. Well, we have to have the bonds approved, and we have to get the bonds, and we have to recognize. We have to go to a council and recognize the revenue stream, and all blah 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 blah. If you expect it to work, you put it in your budget. If it doesn't work, you amend your budget. But at least you're being forthright with the public. You're being forthright with the councils if you do it that way. So this is extremely deceiving. Extremely deceiving. What we will really be voting on and this is just the pure facts, is a new debt authorization, a new property tax repayment obligation. This is like, we're going to have enough time on this. I'm glad we're going to stretch this in an hour too, because I'm going to go over the language of Proposition 1 next hour a little bit more. But what we will really be voting on, she's going to sell it as all these roads, but that's what Democrats do, okay? The elites, not Joe Democrat. Regular folks are not going to act like what we're seeing down the street, Democrat or Republican. But anyway, we will be voting on a new debt authorization, new property tax repayment obligation, a commitment that can last likely 30 years, a replacement for tax relief that would otherwise occur as existing debt declines. Remember, the obligation on the current bonds that are already there shrinks the more and more we pay, just like any other loan. At some point, those were expected to fall off. Now, every administration has their own priorities, so it's just different strokes for different folks. It's all good, okay? This is a great example on different philosophies. Most of us would likely look at the amount of money coming in, which is an extremely large amount. And we would say, let's prioritize. We have all this road revenue. You got so much road revenue in that budget, it is awesome. You have so much drainage money in that budget, it is awesome. All you have to do is go help people. So, what most of us would do is probably put that in our budget. We would probably identify that each LCG budget has a 5-year capital outlay. I'm going to say a plan, because it's not really a budget, because you budget once a year. So of that 5 years, only year 1 is locked in, if you really think about it. And a lot of these projects, will be on year 3 or year 4, year 5, or year 2, as just a kind of like with the legislature, what they do with Priority 5. We don't have to go into that right now. But that is what we're looking at. So anyway, so the operative words in the ballot that we're going to be voting on, if it goes through, if the mayor president gets her way and we vote on this, the operative words in the ballot are incur debt and issue bonds. Look at the language. Incur debt and issue bonds. They are not renew. It's not continue. It's not, you can do what's called refunding existing bonds. A lot of times you can do that authorization through the council. Perhaps this would be on the ballot initiative, but it didn't even have that. Why not? See, here's another thing. If you're going to do that, why don't, I don't know what the interest rates are right now. I know we were able to, Lori Toops was able to refund a lot of bonds because of taking advantage of interest rates. So it might not have that opportunity, but regardless. But compare that with Propositions 2 through 5, which are expressly labeled millage continuation. We're going to talk about that in hour number 2 when we get right back. Stick around. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. Welcome to hour number 2. I remain your grateful host, and in studio with me still Parker. What up, Park?
What up, guys? I'm always here. I'll always be here.
See, that's some love and dedication right there.
The viewers don't know what time it is.
That's all right though. Don't need to.
Don't need to.
Because
I'll be here at 2 in the morning.
It's continual.
I'll be here at 2 in the morning.
The obligation to this wonderful audience is continual, is what you're saying.
Yes.
We got this.
This is what we do for the people.
That's right. I should wear my We the People hat. All right, so we are really, 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 really breaking down this very deceptive, this is my question. Down the street, the mayor president either knows what she's doing or she doesn't know what she's doing. Is that fair? Is that that's the only two options I know on this issue and every other. Same thing with me, same thing with Parker, same thing with you. We either know or we don't know. Whatever it is we're dealing with. So this right here is basically a debt plan. They're promising, they're They're going to use the general obligation bonds they're going to get, and they promise it'll be on roads. And look, here's a little glossy sheet with all the road projects on it. It looks good. Man, go do them. Anywho, so this is a massive debt undertaking. So that's why I say she either knows or she doesn't know. Let's go with she doesn't know. Let's just say she just doesn't know what she's doing, okay? She doesn't know what she's talking about in this. And she really believes that this is a good thing, like this is the only path to fund the road projects that she wants to do. Well, that would be dangerous if that's truly the truth. If she doesn't know the truth in that, then the people around her are failing her and or she's not listening to them. So I don't know. But I have a hard time believing that the Blancos don't know what they're doing here, okay? I'm just saying. And I say that with love. All right? So, we're going to be asked to go to the ballot. I think there's like 5 propositions. 4 of the 5 propositions are going to look exactly like every other millage proposition that we vote on. But Proposition 1 is special. It has different language. Now, it's up to, again, $77 million in new general obligation bonds. Does that sound like a road program to you? No. Repayment over 30 years, interest up to 7%. They're using the extended property taxes as collateral to take out bonds, basically. But don't worry, they will not raise taxes on this year 1. They can't go lower than 1.85 mils on year 1. Don't worry. Now, years 2 through 30, it's just, Parker, it's just a little tax increase. Why are you so gloom over there? It's just a little bit of your money.
That we know of. Could be a lot more. We don't know.
That's the thing.
We don't know. Could double every year for 29 years straight.
Don't give them any ideas. And it's not them. I feel bad for these councils, both of them. The city council, the parish council. I feel bad for anybody that has to work with this current administration on the budget. There are fights over there that you would think only happen in preschool. Okay, actually, preschoolers they have structure, a little bit more structure in place to avoid that. Private sector stuff. So, but it's not I just say, if it's not a new tax or new tax or new debt obligation, then why is a millage set to expire in the 2030s coming on our ballot today or this year, later? Why? Or next year even? Why? Because everything we just said, to use that extra revenue to secure new debt, to pay for routine stuff. We have a surplus in Lafayette Consolidated Government. Why would you go get debt? Why would you go get debt for projects you have a dedicated millage for, which is the Roads and Bridges millage? And it's a nice one. And everybody in the parish pays for it. And it helps all these parish roads and all the things. You know, we're asking for... Here's another thing, Mayor President. You went and lobbied the legislature for this university project. You went and got $30 million. Did you know this? 30 million? 33 or something million dollars from the legislature this year and next year for University Avenue. Why not take that 30 million and apply it to your 77 million? Because if you want to look, it's not my approach. I'm just trying to help her out. If her approach is take millions of dollars and go buy a bunch of, trinkety stuff and hand it out, well, that's her approach. A little tiny, go get a mortgage to go and finance your recurring expenses is basically what we're doing. That's an approach, and that is an approach that this mayor president wants to choose. That's her prerogative. She won the election, and she gets to make those decisions. It's a decision that we probably would not make. You and I and Parker and most, I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican, most people get this. This is local government. Give me 77 million. I'll go show you a project that'll help people. And I'll do all the we will do all the regular routine stuff. Just gotta go have some tough discussions, I guess. I'm trying to use the buzzword. That's also in the buzzwords.
I'm gonna go out on a limb.
Yes.
I'm gonna say I don't think she's gonna take your advice.
You know what it is? We messed up. I was the one giving the advice.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? See, you should have said it.
I should have said it. You should have let me say it.
You know, so I have a theory. But all right, we got two things going for us, guys. This is my public service announcement part. We got two good things going on for us. It's budget time and it's election year for a Democrat in office, Monique Blanco-Boulay. So, election years are great when we have these guys in charge. This is when they at least give us hope. It might be false hope, but they at least give us hope that things are getting done. Like we'll go cut the grass. We might address a few little things. You know, this is so push it hard. Push it hard. Get these finances under control. Pray for our mayor president and our councils. Our councils can do it, okay? So budget time, election year, budget time. We can do some great things to help really, really great folks. It shouldn't be that way in election year. 4 years should be the election year every year. But anyway, I digress. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting from the KPEL Studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Go check us out at rumble.com. Rumble.com. I want to see your chat feature over there. Let me see you. Even if I'm delayed, Sonia Barbier, my dear friend, she had a great question. She said, well, what's the big deal? What is bonding capacity? Like, what does it mean if we get all this bonds and stuff? Why? What's the big deal, Guillory? Well, just don't overcomplicate it. That's a great question, by the way. We just use different terminology, I guess, in government. But all that means is debt servicing. So when you have a bond obligation, that's a loan, it's a debt. So the higher your debt service, the higher your loan payments are, then the less money you can use each year on your regular projects. It also lowers your bonding capacity, as you can imagine. Think debt to income ratio in a regular bank. It would be the same thing with this. You only have so much financial capacity to borrow money to do certain projects. And when you borrow money for routine road projects, that's what these are. Maybe, again, I gotta try to give the benefit of the doubt here. If we were a parish that had no money, if we were a parish, but all of Acadiana's blessed. St. Martin Parish has a lot of money. A relative, they have some opportunities. Iberia, all these guys, it's all about where we're at. But this Lafayette seems to be the only one that's putting this bond stuff out right now, and on a millage that doesn't expire for years. It's a tactic. The reason there is one thought or theory on putting a millage up for renewal or up for vote before it expires, but you usually see that like 1 year in advance. And I don't think that's a bad approach. You put it up. You can kind of gauge where you shouldn't do this for that, but it is some benefits because you can kind of, I don't know. I was always a fan of get out there and talk. I know one time we went early. I think some of the council members wanted. There was a reason for us to do it, but we explained it. Hey, look, it's up next year. We're going this year because we got to do this, this, and this. And forgive me for not remembering what it is. Maybe I can go find that out if anybody's interested. But regardless, and that's all public, so that's good. But I want us to look at what we're actually going to vote for on these road programs because the mayor president has a $77 million plan. She lists all these projects. The projects are not what we're fighting over. That's fantastic. Those projects, half of them should have been done by now. Okay? We've had a surplus 3 years in a row and a healthy major surplus. So the problem is incurring debt and eventually raising taxes. This is what she did to us earlier. This whole roll up and roll down needs to be done, needs to be not even our laws to prevent this from happening. But I really want to look at the key words. Incur debt. It doesn't say go build roads, the proposition. But compare the language of propositions 2 through 5 that we're going to be voting on. 2 through 5 expressly, in writing, it's clear as day. They have the normal language. Millage continuation. I'm quoting it. Millage continuation. Why is that not in Prop 1? Why is incur debt and issue bonds? Why is that only in Prop 1? Proposition 1. Why is that not in Propositions 2 through 5? Clark, you want to take a stab at that? Is there a little deceiving, you think? Oh, your mic's off?
Sorry about that. We had to fix Josh's cam. It lowered a little bit.
Oh, my goodness. All right, good. Thanks, Park, man of many talents. Yeah, why do you think? So you got Proposition 2 through 5. It just says the normal language. Millage, continuation, all this stuff. It doesn't, 2 through 5 doesn't have all this incur debt and issue bonds. Why is it that Prop 1 has that?
Got to read the fine print.
So we're all going to have to hire a lawyer with a magnifying glass to go in. No, really, guys? All right, I will say this. This is a moment where I am happy to have at least been able to be in a position in life to know a little bit about this. You know what I mean? Because this stuff really can easily fly by. Look, I'm a lawyer and all this stuff. I didn't know any of this stuff till I was in. And then it took me a little minute. And I just, you know what frustrates me? Lying and deception. I could take a lot of stuff. That's what I'm saying. Go ask anybody. I'll work with you. Anybody.
Your passion pulled the camera down.
You think it did again?
No, the first time that's what happened.
It was weighing us down. Yeah. Or I think even the camera felt the depression.
It did. It started hanging its head low. Now
check this out. Without these new bonds for Proposition 1, really hear me out on this. Without new bonds, the amount needed from taxpayers to service the debt falls sharply after this year. Okay, so the money we're spending on this debt, it falls, and it eventually reaches zero after these bonds mature. The current bonds, not the new ones. Okay? That's why this is such an important measure. She's looking at this millage that had bonds tied to it that is now about to expire in a few years, and instead of rejoicing with joy and having all these millages freed up to have money to do the projects she's saying she wants to do, instead of doing that, we want to be sneaky big government tax and spend bureaucrats. And we want to be sneaky and we want to be deceptive. Just say you want to increase our debt and you want to raise our taxes. Just say it. Just say it. I'm telling you, we will respect you more if you just say who you are.
She wouldn't get the votes if she was honest. Come on now.
She wouldn't have got the votes if she was honest the first time. But I do not blame the folks. I don't. You can only, one, I got so many thoughts on that. Two.
You can only go off what you hear.
Exactly. I was trying to find the words. Exactly. So I don't blame the folks, and I don't even blame the media. How often do they have someone lie to that degree, you know? But anyway, so there is a relevant comparison, but the relevant comparison here in regards to this context on these bonds for these projects, okay, is not 1.85 mils today versus 1.85 mils next year, although that's interesting, okay? A relevant comparison is a declining and eventually expiring tax versus a tax kept in place and staying alive purely for new debt when we have the money to pay for these projects. Stick around, guys. We'll be right back. To the Josh Guillory Show. Go visit my friends over there at Giles Nissan, Opelousas, Lafayette. Go check out all the deals they got going on. Giles Nissan. Man, I love all the Giles automotives, to be honest with you, Park. Some have dog parts, some don't, like Giles Subaru. But let me tell you, Giles Nissan, go check them out. Affordability, durability. It's a Nissan. Come on. And you get the Giles touch. So,
That's
Giles,
where I got mine from.
Did you? Giles Nissan?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. They're pretty good sales staff. Wasn't pushy or anything like that.
No.
I always joke with Bob. No, joke. I ask him because he's way bigger scale than anything I got going on. But it's all relative. So I always ask him, like, man, I'm noticed kind of like what you were saying earlier. I always notice that your guys or gals they do the extra mile, or they're just proactive without being told, and they're polite. How is it? And he went into the training and all this stuff. My point is, it's purposeful. So that's why you saw it. Yeah. Giles Nissan, Opelousas, Lafayette. Go check them out. Park, you told me we have to cover this millage. You're telling me we have to cover this road debt program again, and I'm going to get depressed.
I already am. I'm not going there currently. Yeah,
you are there. But you know what, though? Hope is there. Keep hope alive. You got to remember one thing. This is all smoke and mirrors, okay? None of these projects will be started under Mayor President Boulay. Not in her administration now. She wins re-election, I'm sure, maybe, I don't know. But if not, you can. This is all for an election. It's kicking off the new campaign cycle. I mean, think about it. She's done 2 projects. 2. She has done 2 projects since being in office. Bertrand and University. Bertrand's not even started, and it was a debacle.
How long has she been in office?
3 years.
How many projects?
2.
Was it 0.7 a year?
Yes. Now, she did enjoy cutting ribbons in year 2024.
So she's cut more ribbons than projects.
Yeah. She's cut more ribbons in just her first year, 2024, than she did in any projects.
That's amazing. That's what we voted for.
Yeah, exactly. Well, look, here's the deal, guys. I don't want to beat a dead horse here. I love the roads. I love the line items that the mayor president put forward. I'm just saying those should have been started by now. And if you want to say, okay, well, we were busy. Okay, can you start now? Why do we have to go bond out when you have a $123 million surplus? We have a $123 million surplus. We have a $123 million surplus. I just want to keep saying it because the council, I know you guys are under a lot of pressure, and it's not fair for me to come on a microphone and put you in the corner like this because it really is hard for them. If they go against this current mayor president, they will feel the wrath of you know what. Okay? All right? And they know that. It's unfortunate. You got really good people down there that want to do the right thing. So hopefully they can. Now, let's go on this 1.85 mils language. It's not the cap. That's the key. The proposition itself that we're going to be voting on. We're going to be told that we're voting on all these nice road projects. We're voting on debt, okay? Proposition 2 through 5 that we're going to be voting on, that doesn't say anything about debt. That doesn't say anything about issuing bonds. Why not? Those millages aren't set to expire years from now. Why only this one? I wonder why. Well, we just talked about it. They want to increase the debt. And they're using our hard work as taxpayers, servicing the debt we already have. And they're just saying, hey, look, we appreciate that, but we're going to go and we're going to take a loan out to pay our recurring bills. Let's go into the language. I'll wrap up on this. So every part of the proposition that we're going to vote on, every word of the language means something. Quote, estimated. That is not a guarantee. Estimated millage, estimated this, estimated that. Unless you're anybody doing balloon payments on your mortgage, some of you, maybe it makes sense. It don't make sense here, okay? It does not make sense in this market to do a balloon payment because it's what it is. First year, but don't worry, Park. They can't raise the taxes on year 1, but years 2 through 20, or years 2 through 30, fair game. How come that's not in the? How come they don't write it like that? in the proposition. Most people would understand that, but no, we gotta make it so complicated here.
If you bought a car and they said to you, you're at 8% for the first year and you're on a 7-year loan, but years 2 through 7,
Yeah,
it's would you buy it? You don't know.
it's
They
no
said
less than 8%.
no less than 8%.
That's the key, and this is that's such a good. That's such
Like,
a
would you
good.
buy the car?
No, that's such a good comparison because the way that government works here on this 1.85 mils, the courtesies only go to the government, not to we the people. So instead, like she could lower it. You know how I know? Because I know. But she's raised it. So what makes you think she's not going to raise it in this one? She's had one opportunity to either lower taxes or raise taxes. She chose to raise taxes. What makes you think that she's not going to do it in years 2 through however long she's in here?
If it's my guess, I don't know. I could be shooting a blank here, but my guess would be the credit would go to her if it works and there's no raised interest, and if it doesn't, then they got to pay for it somehow, and it's coming from us.
You know what would be a really great win for her? I would take all of them and start this year. But if you don't want to do that, take a quarter of your projects. Take 25% of the projects you have on the paper. Why don't you build some trust with us? Why don't you just do those? Why don't you just do that? How about this, Mayor President? Take 1/8 of the I'm helping. I am helping her. 1/8 of the projects you listed. Cut spending just a little bit. It ain't much. Okay, I'll help. And then go fund these projects with cash. Why not? Why not? Because what you're telling us is disrespectful. We work hard for our money. We, the people, have sent money to LCG to pay off the old obligations. The old obligations are almost paid off. And then here we go. This same little scheme was presented to previous folks, and previous folks chose not to do it. This person is. So a lot of this language, man, the bonds can run up to 30 years, 7%. Quentin sent me some notes on this. He said, this tax is like buying a new fully loaded luxury car, but financing it for 10 years to afford the note. And that is exactly what we're doing. And when we continue to grow government and continue to use our surpluses to pay for recurring expenses, we don't have the money to do simple road projects that should already be started. But I love the fact that we're talking roads. Let's just fund it financially responsible. Guys, Wellness Wednesday right around the corner. God bless you. Be careful out there and be kind.